Hey everyone, Lauren from A Girl and Her Wool here. Today we're going to be doing another dye with me video, so we are going to head to the dye pots in just a few minutes, but first I just wanted to introduce what we're doing today. So when I get a new dye, I like to play around with it a lot. So I like to see how it works. Does it speckle well? Is it more of like a good blending color? Is it good base color? Is it a good accent color? Which colors does it go with? Things like that, just so I get to know the dye a little bit better. And I feel more comfortable when I'm creating colorways to know, like, if a color is missing on a colorway, oh, that's the one I need to use. So when I get new dyes, I like to just play around with them. That's when I create my mystery minis and just see how it works. Is it, lighter than I think it's gonna be? Does it kind of get darker as it tones up? And how does it interact with the other colorways? So I have some mystery minis that I had wound up and ready to go. And so I just put a few in each dye pan and just played around with the main color that I wanted to work on, and then just messed around with some of the other colors that I liked. And then in the end, I picked one and created a new colorway with that. So stick around at the end to see the results, of course. And also remember that I do giveaways on my Dye With Me videos. So I'll be announcing a giveaway winner from last time and then introducing the new giveaway for this week. So make sure you listen to the prompts throughout the video, and I will announce the official giveaway and the winners at the end of the video. Alright, so we are at the dye pots now. Again, I have some minis in the pan just heating up there, and I'm going to be trying out this deep blue, green, teal color, and I really just want to experiment with how it plays with the other dyes. And so you see for this first batch, and I have a few different minis in there, for this first batch I'm using it as the base color and just randomly placing it around. I'm not caring about if the skeins look alike or if it's evenly spaced. I'm really just seeing what happens with this dye. You can see it's just this really pretty deep teal blue that just is so wintry and just so pretty. It's one of my favorite colors, and so I'm excited to just play around with it in the dye pans. So I'm going to start moving the pans or the skeins around again, so that way I can apply more colors to this. But you can see I'm not going for evenness in the skeins. The top right, that skein has a lot of the blue, the others are lighter, and that's just to see the different combinations of the colors and how they'll play together later on. So as one of my main goals was to see how this played with some other colors I had in mind, I kind of moved right on to adding in another color. And this is really like what I think of as a blue, really deep blue gray. But it does have that purple undertone, but you'll see it does kind of change as the dye sets and becomes less purple and more gray blue. So I thought that would just be a good combination with this kind of brighter blue to just see how they play together, if they blend well, or if they kind of more clash. And at this point, I'm completely loving this combination and decided that already that this was going to be the 100-gram skein that I use. So I decided that I just wanted to add some gray, so I mixed some gray in a bottle and just sprayed it around the pan. And that's really to just, again, help it blend. And I think that at this point, it's kind of that dreamy blue, gray, deeper blue kind of look. And so that's really what I was going for here. And so just spraying that gray on top doesn't really darken the skein up, but will just help the two colors blend together and come out as an overall kind of blue gray skein with just that hint of that brighter blue throughout it. Alright, so moving on to skein 2, I'm letting the water and the skeins heat up at this point. But what I decided to go with in skein 2 was to have the blue less as a base color and have it more as an accent color. So I wanted to use a different color as the base and just see how it speckles, because that's one thing I want to learn too. Is this a good color that would add well as a speckle, or would it simply be a good base color? Because I saw that it worked well as a base color, but some dyes don't necessarily speckle well, like they blend too much. And so that's what I wanted to go through here. Okay, so you saw I added the yellow. That clip wasn't in here, but I just added some yellow, and I'm just making a nice yellow base. So the reason why I chose yellow was because I wanted to see how it played off with some warmer tones. Again, as an accent color, as a speckle, it's nice to create contrast sometimes. And so that's what I was going for here, just trying to create some of the contrast, and having the yellow and the blue I thought might work well together. And again, we're just experimenting here, and so if this color combination doesn't work, then it doesn't work, but at least I've tried it on some minis. And so at this point, the yellow base is done, and so there I go adding our highlight color of the day, that blue-green. And you can see I really just speckled it. I wanted to see if it would stay speckled, if the spots would show up, and then also slightly blend it in, just to see how it would play as an accent color. So the speckles did stay, but I ended up deciding to blend it a little bit more. And you can see that blue is becoming more of like a green tone. And so just adding more on there, leaving it as the blue, speckling some on. And then at this point I start speckling on some other colors. So this one is one I like to use. It's just a really warmer tone that has like kind of a burnt orange and brownish look. And then I even start speckling some more warm colors, so we'll start to see some reds and some browns in there too. And the brown is really just to tone down this bright red that I add on there. And so you can see I just speckle them on top of each other, so that way the red and the brown kind of blends in and makes more of like a burgundy type color. So those are all of the colors that I add to this skein. And let it set, and then when you're done, you're going to see how this turns out, and it looks really different in the end from how it looks here. And that's just because it ends up being a very kind of variegated with like the different accents on there as well, and they all kind of blended together into like this woodsy earth tone. So stick around to see how that skein comes out in the end. Let's just move right on to skein number 3. So for this one, I go back to using kind of our main color here as the base, and I'm not using it again as a complete base. I'm just kind of leaving room for other colors. That way I can play around and see how it kind of blends in with them. And for this one, I decided to go back to some cooler tones and stick with kind of more of a purpley pink color. And it's really just a color that I thought, again, would work well with this one. And I don't go too crazy. I just add a little bit of each, and I really have the water level at a good level that they really blend together a little bit. So I just add those two colors and kind of let them blend. I don't let them set before adding the other color. And what that does, you'll see in the end, is that it creates a lot of pinks and blues and purples like all across the spectrum, which is pretty cool. So when I dyed up this color too, I kind of thought that maybe I wanted this to become my regular colorway. So when you see it at the end, let me know if you like this one and want to see it as a main color, because I was really torn, but I think I just had already committed to the first one, and they're both good, so both can become colors. So the next thing you're going to see is me dyeing up the kind of regular colorway that we're going to add to my colorway list. So again, we're going to start dyeing the regular colorway, and I'm just doing one skein. I'm not doing a full batch of this. So if you have, as you watch this, if you have colorway recommendations, make sure you let me know. And so this is the colorway that has our main color, that deep blue, and then I'm going to be adding that blue gray as well as spraying some gray at the end. So I'm really keeping it the same and not worrying too much about the white space, just filling it in and letting the colors really blend together. In the end, you'll see this colorway comes out as really a variegated color, but not so crazy that you wouldn't have something to use it for. So the colors really do in the end blend together. And again, this one looks really purple for now, but as it heats up, it kind of becomes more of that blue-gray. And you can see I'm using my same techniques I always use. Just keep moving the skein around, applying the dye randomly so it doesn't pool, and just getting it all kind of covered up. And then here I'm just spraying that gray in at the end. So not too much of it, just a little light gray, not so much to make the skein gray, just really more to blend the colors together and not have them as two separate colors, but kind of one more uniform skein. So that is it for the dye with me, and let's go see how they turned out. As always, I first like to show you what I am knitting while I am dyeing. So in today's dyeing session, I was working on a pair of vanilla socks. This is yarn from Oin Pigments in the Raven colorway, and just doing a plain vanilla sock. Okay, so we ended up pretty much just doing 3 different colorways. I think I would have wanted to play with it a little bit more, but time was a bit of an issue, but I was happy with what we did. So you saw in the end, I ended up creating a new colorway out of that first mini skein that we did. Like I said, the color that I was messing around with is just, as soon as I saw it in a dye pan originally, this wasn't my first time dyeing with it. I had played around with it before, and I knew it was a color that I was gonna be obsessed with. And so, of course, the first one that I made immediately, I thought, okay, this has to be a colorway. But then with the third one, I kind of felt the same way too. So anyway, let me show you what we did. And again, you saw I did a few minis in each of the pans. And so this is the first one that we came up with. So I have, these are actually all DK, and they're just different size skeins. And so we had the main color, which you can see in here. And again, I didn't mention this earlier in the intro, but we just got our walls painted, so you can see they're not white like they have been, but all the furniture is still crunched in the middle of the room. So I don't have my best setup. The light is coming on me this way, but it is what it is. So again, you can see the main color that I was using in there, and it's just like that really deep teal, blue, green kind of color. And then we also used in this one, so we really just made a variegated skein, and we used kind of that bluish, purplish, grayish color. And so you kind of see that throughout it. And I thought that those went really well together. I talk about this every once in a while, but I did it a lot in my Stephen West, where you can create really cool colors by taking colors that are similar to each other. And so when the skein is kind of done, it's not like that bright, variegated, very multicolored, what am I going to use this for type of skein, but you still get some fun dimension and texture and different colors in there. And so I thought that kind of blue, gray, purple color would go well with this, and it does. And then of course I sprayed some gray around on top just to see how the main color kind of went with gray, but then also to just kind of like blend it all together again, kind of make that one multi-tone, one kind of color skein. So, and then of course, because I wasn't trying to make them uniform, you really can see the main color here, and then that grayish color, and then of course the gray tone just kind of throughout on that one. And then the little guy too got some of it as well. So that was the first color, and I'll show the full skein at the end. But then we went into exploring it less as the base color and more of it as an accent color or a speckle. And so I started off with this yellow, which is also kind of a newer yellow, and so I was also kind of playing with that. I usually think of that yellow as more of like a toned down muted yellow, but it actually really did brighten up. So this is much more of like that variegated type skein. And so we started with a yellow base and we added the blue to it. So you see that it does exist kind of on its own there. But then in a lot of places, the two really blended together to make a green, which we expect from blues and yellows. But that's just like good to know that this color will kind of blend in versus sometimes you have dyes that really stay together. So that was a good thing to see. And then of course we did some of those brighter speckles that kind of break into like a burnt orange, and so I decided to bring in some more of that theme, and I just played around with speckling reds and browns, and so you get kind of like this really kind of muted earth tony kind of color that just has like where that blue color really does kind of become more of an accent color. So I thought that was pretty cool and good to know that even though this is a really cool color, it did work with some warmer tones, and it can be like that accent color with some browns and like yellowy greens. Okay, again, all of these got dyed up on some DK minis, so you can see them all here. I mean, these, because it was like more variegated, it definitely these look more similar to each other. So again, that kind of like yellowy, greeny, brown base with just like that accent of that cool blue. And it really did work really well. It's a very woodsy, hunter-y kind of color. Okay, so then back to the cool colors. So again, for this one, I started it as the base, so that kind of blue-green color started as the base. And then I just added a brighter pink to it. So not a hot pink, but like a bright purpley pink color to it. And I'll show it on this. This is a larger sock base skein. And what's really cool is that how the green-blue color and the hot pink just made a really multi-dimensional color. So there's that blue-green, but you also have like more of a true blue in some spots. So here you get kind of more of that blue-green, but then up here it's more of like a regular blue. And then of course you get purples in there, and then just the straight pinks in there as well. And so by just letting those colors blend together, these two really went well together. And I was actually torn, so I had decided, and I think, I can't remember the timing of how I did it, but I had committed to doing the first one as a colorway, and then when I was making this one, I was like, oh, maybe I should have done this one. So let me know if you think this should also be a colorway as well. And I will show you guys it on the other bases. So again, I didn't try to make them uniform. So this one pretty much just has a lot of the blues and the blue-green. And then these are DK. Sorry. These ones are on DK. This again was on the sock base. And then this is actually on my BFL sock base. So you can see how it reacts with the BFL versus the merino. So that was our adventure in testing out a new dye, and I hope you guys enjoyed that process. That's just what I do when I have colorways, or if I have an idea in my head and I just want to test it out and see how it will work. I'll just dye up some minis, and again, I don't worry about making them uniform, because even if you look at the first color that I did, right? Now I have 3 examples, or I mean, in my mind, these two are very different from each other. And so maybe I would have come out and said, oh, I really like this one better, or I would have liked this one better. This one has a lot more of that blue-green. This one has more of the grays. And so that just helps me give 2 examples. So I don't try to make them uniform, because then I'm giving myself more examples of what I can try and do. Again, same with what I said here. These are both on DK. One has a lot more of the pink and purple, and one is more blue and just has hints of the pink. So maybe I'd say, you know what, I really like this blue-green with just like speckles of the pink, or, you know, I really like it as a complete variegated skein. So that is what I do, and I'm gonna show you guys the main colorway as well. Okay, so this I dyed up a 100-gram skein on my sock base, and again, it's like the first one. So here it is. So again, you get not an overwhelmingly variegated skein, but you do get a lot of variegation in there. So you have the bits of that blue-green that we have been highlighting today all throughout the skein. You get that blue purpley gray color throughout it as well. And then I sprayed the gray over it, so you see that kind of throughout the skein to just kind of tone it down, blend it all together. So yeah, so I really like this color. So let me know what you think. Of course, always colorway name suggestions are appreciated and helpful. And this is just gonna be a great, I mean, let's say you have like a really bright, if you think about it, you could, first of all, if you guys do like these colors, these would go really well together as a pairing, especially if I did bring out a lot more of the pinks. Those could go really well together. But as like a neutral kind of blue, this will go really pretty paired with some brighter colors. We saw that it paired really well with some of those warmer colors as well. so you get a really pretty combination there. But then it also is just great on its own as kind of a full variegated skein with the multiple colors in there. So let me know what you think. And as always, I appreciate color name suggestions. But that is it for today's Dye With Me video. So now I'm just gonna get into the giveaway section. So for today's giveaway, since the overall theme was pretty much the mystery minis, I will be giving away a 5 skein set of mystery minis, and you can pick which base they come on. So I do mystery minis. I'm gonna just offer it on my sock base or my DK base. You can have 5 10-gram minis sent to you, and they could very well come from this batch or from some that I have in stash or might die before I send it out. So to enter, make sure you're commenting below with things that I kind of talked about throughout the video. Let me know your thoughts and things you want to see in the future. As always, I won't prompt you with if you won or not. You really need to make sure you're watching the video. So 2 weeks from today, I will be announcing the winner of this video's giveaway. And I do that in all of my Dye With Me videos. So in 2 weeks from now, I will be posting another Dye With Me video, and I will announce who won today's giveaway. So make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss it. I give you until the next video that I post, and so you have 2 weeks to see it and get back to me to win your prize. And now for the giveaway winners for last week. So I actually didn't hear back from the winner from 2 weeks ago. So from the winner I announced in the last video, I did not hear back from. So I will be redrawing that winner, and that is from the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along Dye With Me that I posted. And so that winner wins a $10 gift card to my shop. My shop is at agirlandherwool.com. So I redrew the winner, and this was from the comments on the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along Dye With Me. So the same pool of people. And I picked winner Charlotte Mandel. So Charlotte, please get back to me. And you can email me at agirlandherwool@gmail.com, or if you prefer to just DM me on Instagram, just let me know that you saw this and you won, and I will send you a coupon code for a $10 off gift card into my shop. So for last week's video, or the last Dye With Me video, we dyed up the colors that I used in my Tammy Gore Mystery Knit Along, and I also in particular dyed up one of the colorways on my sock base as well. Look for all of those colors. All of the colors are now listed on my silk DK base. That one colorway is also listed on my sock base, and all the other colorways will be showing up soon. So the winner of that giveaway was Sheila. And this is partially because I ended up using her color name recommendation. So thank you, Sheila, for the recommendation. She recommended Cayenne for the colorway that we dyed up together, and I ended up calling it Cayenne Pepper. And the reason why I ended up doing that was because, well, first of all, I liked that name, and then for all the other colorways in the set, I decided to make it a spice theme, and part of that was because it came from my Cinnamon Spark mini skein set. And so I chose Cayenne Pepper for the lighter color, and then the darker one is Smoked Paprika. The purple one is Purple Basil, which it's not easy to find a purple spice, and it wasn't very lavendery. And then the last one, which is the gray brown base, that one is going to be Sea Salt. So all of those colors are listed. So Sheila, congratulations, you are going to win a color, one of those colors on the base of your choice. So just get back to me and we'll figure out the details. You can also email me at agirlandherwool@gmail.com, or reach me on Etsy or Instagram if you want to. I'm a girl in her wool everywhere. The other thing I was going to mention is that in the shop now are kits for the Radvent cowl and the Radvent wrap. So Amba O'Brien designed some Advent patterns using my yarn, so make sure you head to my shop now and grab them. I'm going to be starting to dye them up, so now is a great time to purchase them while they're still kind of in that pre-order period before I close them out. So thank you to everyone who's been shopping them already. Make sure you keep checking back because my shop is getting updated with new bases and new colorways all the time, and so I hope to see you there. So that is it for today's dye with me. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I tried to do kind of different ideas in each dye with me video, so I have a full list of all videos coming up. But as always, if you have anything that you have questions on or you're unsure of what I was talking about, please comment below and I will either answer them right there or in a future video. Make sure you subscribe so you never miss out on these videos. Giveaway winners, please get in contact with me so I can get you your prizes. And I will see you guys on Friday for a dye studio tour. And I'll see you then. Bye.